Hey guys, we're really excited for today's coffee talk. We have Ryan and Jeremy here from the CreatedCO. They make these awesome mugs that we're holding right now. Cheers. They launched just this summer, and within a few short months, the word about this brand has spread all over. I swear I can't scroll through my Instagram without someone posting about the CreatedCO, which is so awesome. So we're here to talk to them about creating a brand around their product. They've done such a good job at taking this product that they have, coffee mugs, and creating a culture and a community around this product. And I think there's a lot of things that they've done that we can all learn from. So we're really excited to talk to you guys today.
Thanks
We're
for
excited
having
to be here.
Yeah. So
Thanks
tell
for
us about the
having us.
CreatedCO. Tell us about what you guys do.
Wow. Well, it's actually started with Jeremy about a year ago, and he was in a job that he didn't really like. He hated it, and he could probably.
I was
give you
in
a
the
more,
dream job, the
Yeah.
college,
The dream
you
job.
graduate college, you get your laptop, your cell phone, you get your gas card, and they pay for your car, and then you realize you're actually kind of their slave. So started asking the question for myself: what am I created for? What am I created to actually do? To go out and is this it? Is this it? Like, I have the job, I graduated college. It doesn't feel like this is all it was cracked up to be. So started asking myself that, and some time went on and kind of thought, man, I think that would really resonate with other people out there, but wasn't really sure what to do about it or what product, what I could create necessarily. So that was kind of the early stage, but a little later on, kind of, I don't even really know, just through different course of events, kind of came to realize that we're all created for community. We're created to be around other people and among others, and a way that we all gather together and is over a drink, right? We're all sitting here with a coffee mug or different forms of drinkware, and so that was part of it. That was one big piece of it that was kind of an identifier, like, hey, this is a way that people get together. This is one thing that we're created for, and that I know I'm created to do. So let's build a product that can do that.
That's awesome. Love it. So how did you guys start working together?
Well, we've been friends for 10 years now, and we always said we always wanted to start a business together. We've come up with I don't know how many different ideas, from a donut shop to an app or this or that.
So
our
funny.
wives were always like, "Oh, Jeremy and Ryan got another idea.
Exactly.
Add it to the note sheet on your phone. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
No, this is the one." Or but really this one, so he kind of came to me and was like, hey, would you be interested in being involved with this? I was like, absolutely, let's give it a shot. And then we started just collaborating and really just starting to develop the story, the brand, who we were going to focus on, the why, all those different details. I mean, we had so many times together just writing out content, writing out the story, just really back and forth. And and that went on for about 8 months, 8 months to a year, I would say. Would you say it was about that long? So that's kind of how
It was
I
kind of
got
like,
involved.
oh, are we going to do this or are
Yes.
we not? It was
Yeah.
like, oh, we'll shelf this. This is a cool idea, but I don't know if it'll really resonate with
Totally.
people. But then, 1,000 ideas later, then we're like, well, that other one still sounds like it could probably work. Okay, let's go back to it, or, shelf it for a little bit. That sounds way more easy to execute than, whatever. So.
But I would even say, I think it was hard for us to, make that jump. That risk, whether it's financially taking a risk, you putting yourselves out there. And I think a lot of people, they'll have an idea, but to really say, hey, no, this is who we are, this is what we're doing, that's scary, And I think that when you're really at the edge where it's like, okay, you can go do it, this can happen, I think, we kind of were like, okay, you know what, let's just do it, and we were able to really work off each other. And when one was down or one was up, we were able to help each other out through that process. So that was super helpful.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then kind of started up, and then Yellow is actually our kind of really around our launch. I think we might have launched a couple weeks ago. Or not a couple weeks ago, but yeah, before the conference, and I would say that was huge for us, being a part of Yellow, and from there.
Yeah, so attendees to the Yellow conference this past year got a mug that said "Get It Girl" on it, and I just felt like I was seeing pictures of that mug in particular
Oh, yeah.
for month.
Still.
Yeah. So
All
right
the
now, I
time.
see that.
Everybody's like, my favorite mug.
Yeah.
Hashtag the created community.
Yeah.
I'm getting after it.
Yeah, it really has served, I think, as such an encouragement to these women who are every day having to tell themselves that message.
Totally.
Like, come on, I can do this. I can
sure.
get it. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
and I mean, we love coffee,
Right.
so
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean,
pairing-
it's like creatives, and it's like you got to sit down and have your cup of coffee.
Exactly.
And
Oh, yeah.
let's get a message in there that's going to remind me that I can do this. Like, let's get after it, or whatever, And that was kind of the idea behind the brand itself. Was like, okay, we're all in these moments, and so sometimes it's just you and your coffee, and you need that reminder, that daily reminder of just like whether it's the Get It Girl thing, like you're talking about, and we see it all over Instagram with all these yellow attendees, and it's awesome
Yeah.
because it's actually living out and doing what we've hoped it to do, which is inspire someone with their cup of coffee right there in the morning. So it's pretty awesome to see that actually coming about and coming to fruition.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So you guys started, it kind of sounded like you were planning for a while and you were kind of writing out your story and what you wanted this to
Yes.
be.
Yeah.
Did that play a big part into kind of creating this culture around your product? Like, what was that process like?
Yeah. I mean, lots of long hours,
Yeah.
lots of chicken scratch, lots of notepads, going through and just really, like, this is when we were building the website too. Okay, what is going on our site? This is what people are going to see. Like, we don't want to put something up and then 2 weeks later we're taking it down. And it's like, okay, what's going on with this brand? They're changing their messaging already. Like, we wanted to make sure that what we put out right out of the gate was, this is what it was. Those details, like, should we say is? Like, I mean, like, all these little things that were like, oh my, is this even a big deal? But it matters. Like, what you're putting out there and what people are saying, really, it shows your brand. And so,
And we knew, above all else, and I kind of touched on this, was we feel a huge part of life is just connecting and being in community with other people. And so we knew we wanted to build a community that other people could be a part of, and that we could speak into their lives, but also that community could build into one another. And that was kind of, it took us way too long to come up with our tagline, like way too long. It's been like 50 different things, but it finally landed on inspiring, connecting, and empowering people through everyday drinkware. And so we think, I mean, at least I think we do those things. But the empowerment part was not just about us, because we also give to Charity Water, but about our community and building a community.
and
So,
empowering one another.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Really cool.
So I find in my conversations with a lot of people, and I work in branding and graphic design, so a lot of times I find myself having to convince people, like, hey, just like pick something you like and go for it, because you're probably gonna change it later.
Yes.
Or not that we should be changing all the time, but just to choose something and go for it.
Sure.
But it sounds like you guys put a lot of thought and time and thought really through all the details. So how did you find that balance between really thinking through the details and then finally being like, all right, let's just do it. Like, this is good. Like, because I find sometimes you never know when you're done,
Totally.
because you can always keep improving. So
You
how did you guys
absolutely
find that point?
Well, he kind of touched on it in that it was kind of a simultaneous approach, in that we were working on our website, and that was we basically did do what you just said. We just jumped in, but by jumping in, it forced us to start answering the questions of what we wanted our brand to be about. So once we identified that we wanted to be at this juncture, it's a coffee mug company, but we're expanding that to look like other things. But we knew that we wanted to start out. Sorry, what was the question?
Oh, just how, I mean, you're answering it.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of balance the thoughtful details
Oh,
with
yeah.
finally, I guess we're
Like,
you
yeah,
got to
launch.
the point.
We didn't
Yeah.
overthink everything at the beginning.
Yeah.
It sounds like we did, or maybe we made it sound like we did. We didn't overthink it at first. It was kind of like, hey, this is the idea, let's jump in. But then we started to get more and more passionate about it, even as
We were
we
building
started
it,
working on
yeah.
it. And as we started working on it and seeing, hey, there's actually potential to this, we really started to throw ourselves
Yes.
into it and say, okay, if we're actually going to build something that we're passionate about, then we actually have to be passionate about it and have values in that match who we are and that are authentic to who we are, and those will just flow out of us naturally. And so that I say a simultaneous approach because
We jumped
we did
in.
jump in, and then subsequently we realized we actually were really, really passionate about it. So I would say jump in.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, like, if that's the key of how you were so successful so fast. Like, do you think that maybe because you were so passionate, because you believed in what you were doing, that people picked up on that? Like, what do you think? I know you mentioned Yellow Conference in terms of numbers, but what do you think is behind it that's actually like made you guys so explosive so fast? Like, it's really surprising to me when I go to a store and I see the CreatedCO mugs and I'm like, they launched in July. Like, it's 4 months later, you know?
I would say passion. I mean, like, we wake up and we're excited, we're fired up to be working on this project, and the relationships that we're building, the people that we're meeting, the conversations we're having, like, it's life-giving, you know? And for us, like, our brand is, we want to inspire people to do what they were created to do. Like, we're living that out right now. Like, this is what we believe we're actually created to do. And so when you wake up in the morning, like, everybody says, like, I can't wait till Friday. I don't like Fridays, actually, because that's when nothing's going on. Like, people are like, oh, I can't wait till the weekend. I'm like, no, I love Mondays, because, like, that's when we're going. Like, that's how I feel. And I'm like, you know, this is just coming from our hearts, you know? Like, we truly care about it. Like, just the people that we've been able to meet, I mean, it's amazing. You know, it's really the relationships in the community that's continually growing. And when somebody receives our product and seeing the impact it's making on them, like, that is so satisfying for us. Or working with Yellow, or working with Charity Water, working with these different organizations, like, and empowering their organizations and empowering their people, like, it's incredible. I mean,
and for us, like, you know, how we mentioned that we did have 1,000 other ideas. It's like, there's been ideas, but nothing that we were necessarily so passionate about that it was just out of the overflow of our own humanness. Like, this is who I am. And so for us to wake up and, you know, as an entrepreneur, if there's in creatives, you probably understand, like, even just to think of an Instagram post, it's not easy. Like, people think it's easy, you know what I mean? But, like, you got to put in the grind every single day. But if you're not passionate about it, you're going to come up against there's going to be a point in time where it's going to fizzle out because you're just not passionate about it. And so we knew we have to stay as close to us as people authentically so that it just flows out of us. And now every day it's like the brand is an extension of who we are.
I would say.
That's really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So your passion kind of rubs off on all of these other people, and then they're passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think when you're passionate about what you're doing and you're excited about it, you're always looking for the next opportunity. You're always seeing every instance as an opportunity. Like, oh, okay, like, I have a connection with this person. How can I use that?
Totally.
Like, it's like finding that. And I think that when you are excited, you're thinking that way.
And it's not like it just suddenly appears someday either.
Yeah.
You know, it does take, there's a lot of hustle behind this thing.
Yes.
Like that's, you know, getting in stores and so on.
Yes.
Like, that's not just, I mean, yeah, by having an Instagram presence and an online presence and networking and different events, you know, those things do come along, but it's also a lot of just, you know,
Getting on the phone.
boots on the ground, you know, talking
Going
to
to
people,
shops,
you know, so.
Yeah, so you guys you do wholesale, right? So talk a little bit about what that, like you just mentioned, getting on the phone. How are you getting in stores? How are you getting your product?
Yeah.
This is funny. Well, we had, like, honestly, like, things have evolved. Like, I would say, like, we kind of talked.
If you looked
about,
at, like, the business plan compared to, like, where we are today, it's like
it's different.
They're two different companies, But that's not unusual, you know.
things change.
Anyone who writes a business plan or whatever, not that it was some magnificent document or anything like that, but
I think it was what happened was we were selling online, and somebody reached out to us from Florida.
Yeah.
And they saw our product and were like, hey, do you guys do wholesale? And we're like, oh. We never really thought about that. Yes. And so we're like, this is awesome. Some Florida shop wants to, you know, bring our product in, and we're all excited. And we didn't know anything. Like, okay, we didn't know what a line sheet was, like any of that stuff. And then luckily, he thought of one of our friends that manages a boutique shop, like a high-end boutique shop, and we gave her a call, and she came over, sat down with us for a few hours, and was like, this is what you guys need to know, this is what you need to do. And she completely set us up, and from that conversation, we've gotten into over like 25 different stores. We've been on the phones with Nordstrom, like, just crazy things have happened, and it was really the relationships we know that were able to, like, launch us into this wholesale line. So now that's kind of, we're selling online, but now, I mean, I'm on, like, yesterday I probably called like 10 different shops at like 5 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, we're reaching out on the phones. We're Jeremy said, we're hustling. So I don't know if you want to expand on that.
No, I mean, I think you hit it. You know, it just to kind of touch on what I was mentioning before, just in terms of like the business plan versus today. It's like when those things do come your way, and you do have to be willing to be flexible and say like, I didn't necessarily think of it that way or from that direction, and then be willing to change like with it, especially if the marketplace is demanding that out of you, then, of course you don't want to compromise on your brand and your look and who you are, but, to have that request was kind of like our flag in the sand of like, oh my gosh, this is actually working. So much so that someone's willing to reach out to us from across the country, because here we are in Southern California, and they're willing to put themselves out there and say, we trust you enough based on what you've put out there and what you're promising through your brand, that we want to reach out to you. And so that was like, okay, this is legit.
I love that you guys took an opportunity that came your way. You didn't know what you were doing, so you were like, okay, we need help. You got the help that you needed. You sat down and you figured out how to do it, and then you completely expanded upon that. That's awesome.
And everyone's different. Like, every company or product or brand is different. It's not for everyone necessarily, Some people might decide that I do want to just be an online retailer. I don't want to sell wholesale because I appreciate this lifestyle over here, So it's not, there's different goals, I guess everyone has. So for us, we knew, I think we could do this.
And we're back with the CreatedCO with our coffee mugs from our coffee break. One thing, I know a lot of our followers, we actually have a persona called the starter, and that's the person that's just getting off their feet, starting their brand, starting their business. And I loved what you guys were saying about passion, and I feel like there's a lot of our subscribers that are passionate about a lot of things, but don't know how to like take the first step to making it their career, and they also don't know that it takes a lot of stinking work. So what are some of the hard realities of making your dreams come true, of making the CreatedCO what it is? Is it hard or is it easy? Like what?
It's not an Instagram post. I'll tell you that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can touch on this first.
It's not an Instagram post.
Right.
Gosh, what are the hard realities of being in business? I mean, you sleep less,
Yeah.
I've developed an eye twitch now. No, I mean, it's not, Ryan actually kind of touched on it in a way that I like. It's not an Instagram post. Like, to an Instagram post, you see people, they'll make it like this perfect thing or whatever, and then it's put out there as this life is, there's this perfect looking photograph that we all get to,
Love and like.
wish that was our life or whatever the case may be. But in reality, there's a lot of hard work that comes behind those photos. There's a lot of hard work that comes, in the day-to-day work of just waking up to two broken coffee mugs that, we shipped across the country. And so we got to make that right. And so there's a lot of hard realities. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, things like that. Maybe a customer had a bad experience like that. We're going to take care of it. But when you're selling a product and you're putting yourselves out there, you want it to be 100% every single time. You know what I mean? I think when we're working with manufacturers, things like that, things that we're new to and things that we're learning along the way. Of, oh, well, actually, we're out of this product. We can't make this for you. Oh, well. What do you mean? Like Christmas is around the corner, or we have a client that we're collaborating with and they want this particular item and they're out of stock, and you know what I mean. So those things, like we've had to, had some intense like conversations. We've had to have some.
It takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of tenacity to say, okay, we've hit a roadblock again, and now we've got to get over it and keep going.
We had this. We had this one day where we got one of these things that happened where it was like they couldn't provide, and it was a manufacturer
was out of a specific product that we were looking for, and we've been working with them directly, and
it was supposed to show up like on this particular day. Okay, perfect. We get a call that morning, they are completely out of stock, like it's not coming in for another month, and we're just like, are you kidding me? Like
we have customers that are waiting for this product, and now suddenly we go into problem solving mode. And that's a huge piece of business that I'm starting to realize and understand more, is that much of our day often will be engulfed in problem solving. You know, problems occurred, let's solve it and move on to the next one. You know, obviously you want to start to avoid that as you can, you know, and not be necessarily just putting out fires all day long, but it does happen. You know, in this instance, it was, okay, this manufacturer is out of the product. Let's start problem solving. Okay, let's call locally so that we can get this done. Okay, can someone get it done in time? Make sure that we can actually go pick up the product that we can deliver to the customers that we have. And so it's a lot of problem solving.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think people think like, oh, I want to own my own business so I get the free time and I get the flexibility and it's so nice, but you're gonna be working way more, way harder with more risk, and you're the one that's financing this thing. You're not just working for a company or a business or you know, for your favorite organization. This is all on you at the end of the day. And so I think that's not a reality that people are thinking, especially for maybe it's a creative that wants to maybe start their own design firm, or a wedding photographer that, you know, wants to start their business, you know, all those things. There's risk with however small your business is or however big your business is. There's always risk, and there's hard things that come. And
you have and there's a vulnerability that comes with that. You know, it's like Ryan said, we know that our name's on this product at the end of the day, and so
we want to
deliver. I guess you can equate it to a blogger. You know, that when you hit publish, you know you're out there, and that's a hard thing to do. And to say, this is me, you know what that's like, and it's like, this is me, and this is who I am. I'm going to put this out there, and it's up to the market to say, I agree or I disagree. You know, so
that's a scary thing. I think it stops a lot of people.
It does.
They're
It
afraid
does.
of that.
Absolutely.
Because it is scary.
Right.
Rejection and, you know.
As a designer too, like any creative business, you're putting yourself out there. I think for you guys on a personal level, in terms of risk, both of you are in the midst of starting families. Like your wife was in labor when you dropped off the mugs at Yellow Conference.
Oh, that's right.
He was like texting me like, hey, I'm gonna drop off the mugs, but my wife's about to go into labor, so I'm not gonna stay long. And I was like, oh my.
I hope Marissa's not watching this.
I know. And then Jeremy, your baby's about to have a wife. Your wife's about to
my
have
baby's
a
about to have a wife soon, so that's kind of weird.
But it's like, I think that a lot of people, I know for me, something that I've had to combat with having my own family and having to put so many dreams on hold is that people think, well, once you start a family, your dreams are done. And speaking of which, there's my baby making a noise. And I love that you guys took a calculated risk at a time that really was risky. You're not, you know, not to demean any season of life, but you're not fresh out of college. You know, you guys are married. You are each having your first babies, and
we're insane. You can definitely put that.
People thought we were crazy.
We're definitely crazy, you know. But the time was right for us. We just it's been so long that we've been dreaming of starting a business, and it was just, it's now or never. You know, we are having families. We knew that we've had thousands of ideas, and to not do this in 10 years from now, I'm going to look back on my life and I'm going to regret that I didn't pull the trigger.
We had that conversation. We said I mean, because literally we were like, okay, when should we do it? When should we not do it? We're like, let's do it Monday. Like, let's go live Monday.
Yep.
That's really cool.
And that was that day, you know, was the day when you, like we're talking about, when you hit publish, you know, and we say officially, like, okay,
we're live.
We're doing it on Monday, regardless of what happens. You know, we're just going for it. Like,
Awesome.
And here we are.
That's awesome.
So
you guys are doing all of this while still working day jobs, right? And I think that's important for people to know, because I think sometimes people just think, oh, just like start your dream job and you can financially provide for yourself and it's gonna be awesome. But that's not, I mean, if that was true, I'm sure everybody would do it. So what does that look like for you guys, balancing day jobs, business, family? I mean, that's a lot.
It's tough. There is a lot of overlap that kind of ends up happening, you know, and luckily our wives do have a lot of grace with us. I mean, not that there's not moments of frustration when
off Instagram.
Get off your phone or off your computer, you know. But
stop interesting.
But no, it's been hard. I mean, there's been like just pure exhaustion. You know what I mean? Like we're working 7 days a week on the business, honestly. We're trying to get to a point where we're saying you take a day off and I take a day off. But
we haven't done that.
We haven't really done that yet. But like I thankfully work nights, and so he works during the day, so I'm able to do a lot of things during the day, and then when he gets off, he's able to do those things at night. So it's actually been a good balance us able to like really share the load and, you know, things that I could do, you know, that I'm talking to people during the day, because that's normal business hours. You know what I mean? So I'm talking to retailers, I'm talking to manufacturers, I'm talking to other organizations, I'm having those conversations, and then he can come back and piggyback, okay, what still needs to be done? For example, well, these emails need to go out. We need to get a post up, you know, things like that. So
That's
we've been,
cool.
we've been able to tag team
been,
really
it's
well.
been a good team effort.
Yeah, and
that way.
we're just grateful for that, because if I was also working all day, we would not be able to do what we're doing right now. And we've talked about that. So it's been really good.
I feel like that's a good, like, you guys have a good handle on that business partner thing. Because I know a lot of people wonder, should I go into business with a partner? Should I start it myself?
For sure.
You know, why for either
That's
way?
a really valid question
Yeah.
for people to answer for themselves. You know, you get into a business partnership and you're getting into a marriage. Like your values need to align. The way that you look at life needs to align. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of friction. There's going to be a lot. You know, we follow Dale Partridge, and he just put out a post not that long ago that was like the 5 reasons why you should never have a business partner.
I remember
and
that.
There's a lot of there's validity to that. There's a lot of, you know, but for us as friends, as knowing each other's lives so much and knowing just kind of where our values lie, it was obvious for us to say yes to that. Rather, but it's not for everybody.
No,
definitely not.
And you have to be careful, like he said, who you go into business with. Even if they have the strongest skill set and they have a lot of value to add, another thing that a lot of people miss is character. Having character. You could have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have character, you have to be very careful going into business with that person. Because when push comes to shove and they want to make a decision that's just all based on money and it's not about integrity and things like that, then you're going to be having to have some, you know, hard times.
Hard conversations.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think like that's super important. And I think like there's been some times where we're like, he'll get maybe a little frustrated with me, I'll get a little frustrated with him, but we're able, we're able
Which
to.
is probably healthy.
Yes, it is. It is.
Like a marriage.
But we also know each other's strengths and we know each other's weaknesses, you know, and we're just gonna tell each, that kind of frustrated me, or like, you know, in a loving way.
Be open and
honest, because you don't want things to sit, things like that, and we're just, you know, so it's definitely really good, and we've been.
And you have to let each other play it into your strengths.
Yes.
And it's gonna be better for the business if you
Totally.
do. You know what I mean? I'm way overly detailed. Like I'll see, he laughs because it's true. Like
I like details too, but he's on another level.
Yeah.
But it's just good, because then it challenges me to like, hey,
But
no,
he's able to take something from maybe like a higher level, like vision standpoint, and I'm able to say, well, in execution, that might actually look harder because of these different reasons. Or the opposite might happen. Hey, I have this vision. He might have this vision for something, and I'm like, I think we could do that. Like, let's go. Let's dream that up, and let's
that just
actually go and
happened.
pull it off. Yeah, like that
And you
just
can
happened.
trust what he's saying because you know his
Exactly.
skills are in
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's times where I'm like, no, we can do this. Like, it can happen. He's like, dude, oh my gosh, you're nuts. But I'm like, hey, let's go for it. Like this past week, we just started working on a thing with Charity Water, and like within 48 hours, we had something mocked up and made, and their design team did something, and
awesome.
it's into production.
We knew it was a
rad.
match. He had an
Yeah.
idea. I thought, okay, I think this can match.
And
Like,
he
let's
said,
go
okay,
for it.
let's do this, X, Y, and Z. If we could get all these things done by Friday, then let's pull the trigger. And we got it done.
Cool.
So that's kind of how the process has been going. So
That's really awesome.
Yeah,
Wow,
so-
good stuff in
Yeah.
store. So you guys talk, I know like you talked a little bit about like you work with a manufacturer and there are like different like struggles that come with
Yeah.
that because you're relying on them for a lot.
sure.
Yep.
What is like 3 very practical steps to getting started with a product? Like
Okay.
how did like finding a manufacturer, getting a website
Yeah.
up, like what did that look like for you guys?
you could touch on this.
I mean, for us, it goes back to your first question about starting a brand. You know, we wanted to not just have a product and be product centric, but we wanted to build a community and build a brand around what we were doing. So, if I can kind of speak it into it that way, I would say, you know, you need to start with a niche audience. Number one, first and foremost, that for us, we knew we were going to go after faith-based, conscious-driven people that want to do good and you know are looking maybe for inspiration and you know. So start with the niche audience, because you can't say everything to everyone, or you'll say nothing to anyone. So
That's good.
yeah,
It's a good write down.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Start with a niche.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
start with the
that's
niche
awesome.
audience. I'd say that the more narrow you can get, if you want to
better.
do.
Even just if you're
Yeah.
like, because everybody wants everybody, but if
Right.
you're like, I'm gonna go after 5% or 10% and just focus all my efforts, all my energy, all my content, everything that I'm
And
writing,
if that,
coming
and
up with.
if even to go back to what we were talking about, the passion part, if you can figure out a niche audience that maybe you're even passionate about, so table the product thing.
Yeah.
Like, what are you passionate about?
Yeah.
What is an audience that you feel like you can speak into and add value to? And then let's talk about a product,
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe that I can talk about road bikes. I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
making this up, you know what I mean? And here we are in LA. Let's not talk about road bikes generally. Let's talk about road biking in Los Angeles. And what can we do to the road biking in Los Angeles community? And let's start writing blogs and
good
creating content. And get
Add it to the list, I
get
like it.
focused, get niche audience focused, and
Yeah.
then. But once that group starts to form and build, you can go out from
Yes.
there. So, but until you have someone to talk to, you have an audience to speak into, you're just going to talk to no one. So
Yeah.
if you can build it around your passion and you can talk and add value into a community, start there.
And that's what you've done with Yellow. You're
Yeah.
focusing on women, entrepreneurs, creatives, and that's just what you're focusing on.
Yep.
And you're doing a great job with it. You know what I mean? Like if you were trying to reach all entrepreneurs or all, you would get lost in the crowd, I think. But
Yeah, I think that a lot of times people are afraid of that because they think, well, then I won't reach enough people.
Yeah.
But I've always heard, and this is like from a book that I haven't read, but
Yeah.
someone like told me about it. It's like you want to make people not just say like, oh, that's cool. You want to make people say like, hell yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yes.
That's me. Like,
Yes.
and getting people to
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
that
totally.
like you get me feeling,
Yes.
then they're gonna buy your product.
Exactly.
Then they're gonna be a part of what you're
Yep.
doing. Whereas if you were just like, oh, we're doing mugs for
Yep.
anybody and they're cute and whatever,
Yeah.
Right.
people will be like, oh, that's nice.
Well, that's what I would say
Like,
the
I'm
second
gonna-
step
what's
is.
next,
It's
you
like
know?
identify the niche audience, then go and identify what are the values in the story that resonate with that group of people.
Yeah.
And start building content and value around it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or that.
And speaking to those people in that way, the way they want to be spoken to.
Yeah.
And if it's naturally out of you as an authentic person, the way that you probably would want to be spoken to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
And then what's the third?
third one?
Hustle.
Yeah. Seriously. Third one is hustle. Yeah. So once you do those two things, just start
Just do
busting
it.
your butt
Executing.
to execute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Ideas are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Once someone gets to execution, I actually have respect for them because it's way easier to come up with ideas, as we know, the idea kings.
Yes.
And it's way harder to actually
Yeah.
get to where you're holding our products right
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
totally.
so much harder. So just hustle.
Yeah.
Number 3, hustle.
Yeah.
Identify a niche audience, build a story and build values around it, and then hustle to make it happen.
So awesome.
That's so
guys.
good. Just before we end, really quick, I want
Yeah.
to go back to that building content kind of around your product. And what does that look like for you guys? Because I know that what you guys have done, and we've said it many times,
Yeah.
is you've created a brand around your product. And I think that means putting out content that's more than just your mugs or
Yeah.
your whatever your product is. So what does that look like for you guys? How are you developing and telling your story?
Yeah.
I would say the way we've told our story is through social media. That's been our platform. It's been huge. Instagram has been a huge platform for us to really get out there and to share the story. One of the things we're developing right now is a blog platform to where we want to be giving content out to people. They could come, they want to go to our site. They want to come to CreatedCO because they know that they're getting something, they're getting value. And so we want to speak into their lives on different topics, different issues. But really, I would say our biggest platform that we've been able to share the story through is through Instagram.
Yeah, totally. And I think that it's important to, Gary Vaynerchuk always says this, and he says that content isn't king. And that's when you hear that, you get scared because you're like, no, it is. That's what everybody says, right? But
Yeah.
when we realize that actually everyone's creating content right now, so it's actually context. Context is king. So
Yes.
We know where our people are and what they're looking for in terms of value. So for us to say, okay, we're inspiring, connecting, and empowering people, those are our 3 values. The things that we're going to build content around are those things, and that's what our people want to hear, and that's what they expect from us. And so in terms of context, where that plays out for us happened to be Instagram. Now, whether and we know Pinterest is another big one that we need to grow, but if you're going to build a brand, then what's the context that you're going to release your content? It's not just building the content, because if you release it on Google Plus, you might not get out there.
Totally.
So
Totally.
Good.
Yeah.
I love that.
Cool.
So where can we find you guys? What's your website,
Yeah.
Instagram, hashtag?
Find us on Instagram, the CreatedCO.
at the CreatedCO.
At the CreatedCO, our hashtag's the Created Community, because that's, like we said, we want to be a community that is rallying together, empowering one another, even on social media, things like that. So we want to see who our people are. We want it to be a place of connection, and then also we're in retail stores. We're in Share and Do Good in Orange County.
Love them. I know.
There's a bunch of other places in Orange County, but really, we're getting a lot of places in Seattle, Washington, some in Nashville recently. So we're definitely expanding our footprint.
And hit us up just on our website, thecreated.co.
And you guys are you're starting to launch your blog and all that too.
So there is some content.
We've soft
already
launched, but we're kind of redesigning the blog and gonna kind of.
So it's pretty good.
So
we're excited.
It's so exciting to see what you guys are doing,
Yeah.
and we're just, you're forever Bloom dudes. Like, we're so excited to be a part of you guys.
I know, we're probably the only guys that came on this thing.
No, there is a hashtag that is
Bloom
Bloom
Dudes.
Dudes
Perfect.
for the token.
All right.
Nice.
Love it.
Token
Love it.
dudes.
Well, we're excited. We thank you so much.
Thanks for being
Yeah,
here
thanks
today,
for
guys.
being
having
here, and
us.
thanks
Yeah.
for the mugs.
Awesome.
Cheers.
I don't have a mug, but
Sorry, guys.
gosh.
Sorry, Phil.